Hi everyone, good morning. I hope you're able to hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So everyone started doing practice, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So are you facing any issue anywhere? Did you stuck anywhere? You can unmute everyone and you can talk. Okay. So by the time be ready to share your screen so that I can see what practice you have done. Okay. So who wants to share the screen?
Actually, I am started myself by last 4 days back only, sir. And some other issue has also happened, and I rectified it, as you know. And later on only I started myself in the SQLN and copy data for first last 4 tasks itself. And we saw like yesterday only incremental refresh as well by with our colleagues, other colleague as well. But
Okay.
need some more time and we'll complete it, sir, by this weekend mostly. By this,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, that is
So
the
so up to
scenario.
incremental loading you have completed and you are going to
Yeah,
start
next
incremental
task.
loading practice. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so try to complete on today at least incremental loading.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so that that is the major task
Yes,
that
sir.
I feel
Yes, sir.
from data engineering.
Mm.
Okay, who wants to share the screen and show anyone?
I can share, sir.
Yeah, please ask Mark. Can you share and show me
Uh,
your pipelines?
can you see the screens?
Yeah, we're able to see.
Yes, sir. These are all the pipelines, and
Just go through one by one and try to give an explanation in a less than a minute or minute, an oral explanation of the pipeline.
sure, sir. So this is a single pipeline for the for the incremental load. So this is not the dynamic. So we have given the file names and sources. So yeah, this is about this pipeline. So
And
we are only
what is
getting
the use of this lookup activities?
to get to filter the data between them, between the dates. So we are controlling the like we are giving the fixed data like from which date to which date we want. So we are taking it by using lookup
Okay, so from where you are taking the data for lookup?
from the database,
Okay, so database means,
from the on-prem.
I mean, that's fine, but for what purpose you are using this lookup activity? Which date you wanted to get it and from where it is coming, apart from the database? Like you have a control table, right? So you have to
Yes.
talk about that control table. So
Okay.
last loaded date we are taking it.
Last loaded. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that explanation we required when we talk about this incremental loading.
Okay.
Okay, so simple to apply incremental loading, we need to have a boundaries for the data, from boundaries for a data starting date and ending date. So the starting date, I mean last loaded date, we can get it from the control table by using lookup activity. And other lookup activity is going to get the max date from the source. So we can pass these two dates to copy data activity to restrict the data between the two dates. That is fine. Then what about this stored procedure activity? What is the purpose of it?
Stored procedure is to update the data. For example, like if we are updating any data in the main control table, sorry, if you are updating any data in the like the tables which you have. So In the stored procedure, what we are doing is we are updating the control table for the latest record, like when the latest record was updated. So that is what we are updating by using the stored procedure.
Okay, good. Then next one.
And actually, I just need to check and I need to see. So this is for the multiple files for the incremental loading itself. So we are not using any full loading. It's only for the incremental loading, but we are doing it through dynamic. So
Okay.
we took every table as the dynamic.
Okay, perfect.
So that is only the difference. And here we use the full loading. For example, if there is any new table, and if the data load type is full load, then this will go to the false because we used a filter over here.
Mhm.
So we used a filter over here. If it is IL, it will be true. So it will go to the true statement and it will execute the incremental load. If it is not IL, it goes to the full load. So this
Okay.
is all about this. And this is a basic pipeline for getting the simple flat file with
Okay.
and this is a list of flat files. We use the list in the source. We use the list of files and we update the file names in the text in the
Okay.
notepad, and we upload that so that we get all the files which are in the text file.
Okay.
And this is the same, but we use it in a dynamic way. We get it from the wildcard where we don't mention the report, we don't mention the file names, and we just give the input, and accordingly, we will get the files for the flagged file dynamic. And this is the current date. So if we have a file and if you want to get the current date, so we use the set variable to set the report name. For example, if you want the file with the current date, then we use a set variable. So this is how we use, and we use the format, and we get the customer underscore report, like the date and the file type.
Okay.
And this is for size delete. So we use metadata, and if we want to compare the size, like for example, if we want to delete any file which is less than 1 KB or 2 KB or anything like that, so then we can get the files from the get data, and then
The
here
main
we can.
main purpose of get metadata activity, what we can do with get metadata?
So we can get all the list of the files. For example, for database it is SQL. For a database we use SQL. Sorry, for database we use lookup, and for documents for files we use the get data to get the list of the files. So we generally use it for getting the queries so that the iteration will be happen for every file one by one. So the main uses are like we can get the child, like we can get the list, and we can check if the file is exist or not, and we can check the type and modified date. So
Okay, good.
yeah,
If you choose list items of get metadata activity, what is the output of get metadata activity? If you choose
list type
list child items,
for the child items.
yeah,
So that will be the list of the child items where we get so
yeah,
one by
correct.
one. Like,
It's a list only.
yeah, it's
Perfect.
a list only.
Okay,
So
so and what you're doing with if? What is the purpose of if?
what is for purpose of if?
Yeah,
So
if condition.
it is a condition basically. Like if we want if it is true, then we want one of the condition to be executed, and if it is false, then we want the other condition to be executed. For example, here, so I mentioned it as, so if it is less than 2 KB, then I want the true condition to be executed. So
Okay,
the true will be executed. If it is not if it is not true, then the false condition will be executed.
Okay, good.
And yeah, the same thing we used in a dynamic way. So we use the set variable here, and we got the here we have created the subfolders by using the formula,
Okay,
and this is the filter function. So we are just filtering the data. So we took the table list from here, and here we use the filter function to get only the files which are having .csv. We are filtering it, and then we are using the this for each loop.
okay, good.
Only
And
specific, right, sir? Specific files, sir. We are
Yeah,
filtering.
so yeah, this is just the get data exit. This is also the basic one. So we just used whether to check if the file is existed or not.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is also similar. This is for file and this is for folder. So there's no much difference. And and this one to get the current date along with current date and the child item. So we use to get data to get the list of the files, and here we use the expression to get to match the output to get the date along with the file name. So I've also created the another pipeline which with the dynamic uh, data type. So this. So this also the file name also I took it dynamically like the file type,
Okay,
and I've executed. Yes, sir. So these are the pipelines, and these are the data sets.
okay, perfect.
And
And
yeah.
yeah, so I wanted to ask a few more things like what different types of integration runtimes you are having, and why for each and every integration runtime we are going to use. Like, I wanted to get some explanation about each and every IR.
Okay. As of now, I only remember two IR. So one is uh, integration IR. That is basically if you want to do the pipeline from the Azure cloud, like if the data is in cloud and if we are getting the data from cloud and doing the pipelines, then we use the integration IR, and the other one is self-hosted IR, which we use if we are trying to get the data from on-prem, and uh, like from on-prem, if you want to get the data, we create the self-hosted IR. Then we connect that, we do the connection, and we take the data from the on-prem and we give it to
Okay,
the Azure. And
and
the other one is SSIS. Sorry, yeah.
yeah, where can we set up our self-hosted integration runtime?
It is to the same manage, and here we
No,
can.
I am not asking the approach how we can set up it. Where, what is the right place to install?
From the integration runtimes. So here, if we create one,
No,
and if we
say, I think let me keep in a different way. I wanted to bring data from on-prem data source. So if you want to bring data from on-prem data source, we need to set up self-hosted integration runtime. I mean, we need to install it, right?
yes.
So where you are going to install? Are you going to install in the source systems? Or are you going to install in the target systems?
So we are going to install in the source systems.
Okay, got it. So basically, we are going to install in a source system only.
Source system. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. And I'll ask few questions later. Okay, so anyone wants to share the screen, whatever the
So
practice you see
one
here.
thing, actually, so yesterday you asked to do a one task, right? So I just have one doubt. So this was the
Okay,
pipeline I created yesterday. So basically, we So basically, you asked to create like this, sir, like from all the files,
Okay.
every
So,
file
yeah.
should go to the different file.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Based on the
according to, so
extension,
that's
we have to create a folder. That is what we
yes, sir.
expected.
Yeah, I have created that in that way. I've only used one of everything I've mentioned as a dynamic. So this is what I've created.
Okay.
So I took
Target
I took the repo list, and this is what expression I mentioned. So what I was doing is I used equals to just compare between like this dot CSV is equals to dot CSV.
Okay.
Okay, so it did work, but the problem I faced is like, the output which I expected was right. But for example, if the file name is same, for example, if it is employee.csv and employee.text or employee.json, every file was going into the employee because we mentioned output as report name or the full table name to create the folder, right?
No, you have to consider the extension of the file.
So okay, so that's what I tried, but I was able to get if the report name is same. I
Okay.
was
So
different.
the approach that you have to do is you can go with switch activity.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have to use the function while writing expression. You can use a function called contains
Mm.
with if statement.
Okay.
Okay. So in the switch activity, I guess switch activity will work. If switch is
Mhm.
not working, then we have to go for if condition activity.
So, like if in case if there is one if, and if I want to, if it is fail, then I go to, if I want to go to next if. So how can I do it? Like
Yeah. So this is one more interview question. Like, can we use if inside if? 100% is no. We cannot use it. But if you want to use it, you have to go for what I can say. We have to use execute pipeline activity. I think last session we talked about it, right? I
yes,
think so. Did we? No, we did.
no,
We did
no, no,
not
we
talk. We
didn't
did
talk.
not talk about it. So tomorrow I'm going to take you through how we can call a pipeline from another pipeline, and how we can use for each inside for each. So generally for each inside for each is not possible, but I'm going to make it possible indirectly. So indirectly, we have to do it. So if we have this kind of situation, like for each inside for each means two tasks, right? So for each one time, again inside for each two times means two pipelines separately we have to create it. Then only we can achieve. In the same way here also, if you want to go for if inside if, then we have to create a two pipelines, separate pipelines.
Okay.
In that way we can handle it, but we don't require here. We can use the switch activity. By using that we can handle it if I'm correct. But I'll show you. Just try. I have another way also. In the target itself, we can use the if condition. In the target folders, we have it, right? Folders creation, like if the folder target data set. If you go to any of them, target data set, like year hierarchy we created, um, just try to go for any of the target data set. Yeah. So if you take output data set, choose any of the output data set. I'll tell you. So here dataset dot p underscore folder name is there, right?
Yes.
Just open that. Yeah. Here we can use the if function. If file name contains CSV,
Okay.
then the folder is going to be output slash CSV. Else in the else block, again you can write if function.
If function.
So
Okay.
function will allow to write if inside if.
Okay.
Okay, so again you can check if file name having JSON, then output slash JSON, something like that. We have to create a folder. Else it will go and check all the types of the files, and then we can come out of it. So in that way we
Okay.
can do it. We don't
Okay.
require to go for any other activities. So file will go as this, and you can take it. I mean, while creating a data set, take a CSV delimiter, and do not choose the header, do not choose the schema. Then it is going to work. So I've done this one. I mean, I explained for many batches. That is one of the way to do it. Okay, you
Okay,
just
sir.
try.
Yeah, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay, so you understand, right? First, get metadata activity inside output of get metadata will go to for each. Inside for each, you are going to have this copy activity, and copy activity is going to have a source data set and target data set. In the target data set, you are going to use the if condition in the
Yes.
expression itself. Okay, try in
Okay.
that way.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. Anyone wants to share the screen?
Hi, sir.
Hi, Pavitra.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen,
Yeah,
sir.
please.
Yeah, is it visible, sir?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, these are the pipelines which I was created.
Mhm. Just try to explain like what is get metadata filter. Okay,
Okay.
one time.
Sir, actually, I don't see the screen.
I'm able to see your screen. How about others? How about others? Sridevi able to see your screen?
Sir, actually, I'll share it with you later, sir.
No. I'm asking. Say,
Ask-
Pavitra is sharing her screen.
I'm not able to see, sir, her screen.
Okay. Pavitra, can you stop and reshare again?
Okay.
I'm able to see her screen.
Even Anil also saying the same thing, right? That time also I'm not able to see, sir. I just
Yeah,
want
sir.
to-
Me too. I didn't see
Yeah,
his
Is
means
that
he didn't shade us actually. He shared only sir.
uh, is that I think is there any option to share only to admin?
me. No, sir. I
I
shared to all.
Now, can you confirm Rajkumar able to see?
No, sir.
Is that
even advanced in the advanced also.
I'll do one thing.
I think host will be able to share, I guess.
Can you share now, Pavitra? Can you stop
Yeah,
and reshare
now.
again?
Yeah.
I gave a host access. Basically, it should not be. It should be visible for everyone.
Yeah. Is
Now,
it visible, Raj?
Yeah, able to see. Yeah.
you would have raised that, Pavitra, because if you see the screen, everyone can understand, right? So everyone has to be visible. It should be visible. Yeah, that's good. Just walk me through all these pipelines
Yeah.
with activities also. Like when you say get metadata, just give a brief introduction about get metadata activity. I mean each and every activity.
Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead.
This first line is about only getting the CSV files. In source, we have multiple types of files. In the target, we only get the CSV files. For that, I created a get metadata. This will get all the list of files like CSV, XLS, whatever it may be. And after that, this filter data, based on this expression, it will give only CSV files.
Perfect. Go ahead.
And after that, one by one, we'll go to for each loop and it will copy into source.
Okay.
The second activity is about deleting based on the size.
Okay. So how did you find the size and explain about this entire use case?
Okay. This get metadata will get all the list of files and it will give to for each. And inside for each, another get metadata is there. And here we will check the size of the file based on this expression.
Okay. And then?
And after that, it will go to if condition. If the condition was true means, that means it is less than 2 KB means it will delete. Otherwise, it will copy to source,
Okay.
target.
Perfect.
Here, it is just a simple one. It is to just check the file exists or not.
Okay.
This will only for exist for practice purpose. I
Yeah,
just
perfect,
created.
perfect.
Mm,
We are in a for each, so get out of for each so you can see pipeline.
yeah. This is also same one, but
Okay.
in previously it will only get customer CSV. Here it will get all the files.
Okay, perfect.
This is also same now.
Okay.
This is for incremental load for single table.
Okay, so here explain how you are going to implement incremental loading for single table.
Yeah, this lookup will look into the table regarding the start date based on the condition here.
Okay.
And this will take the last loaded date.
No, the last loaded date is start date.
Sorry, maximum date.
Okay. Max of your source date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we will copy the date from, copy the table from on-prem to Azure source.
Okay.
And the stored procedure is for updating the control table.
Okay. So you're
not manually, it will automatically update the control table.
Okay. So just forget about technically what activity we're using. Just try to give an explanation what is incremental loading and how you can implement it.
Yeah. If you take if my source table is has 10 records means if my target table I want to load all the data into the target table means that was fine at the first time I will load. After that, if one more record is added to my source data means if I do the same thing, it will copy all the 11 items. So for
Okay.
that purpose, incremental load came. And if I copy all the 11 item means it will comes under full loading. Incremental load means I want to copy only the latest data.
Okay. That is correct. And how can you decide whether we need to go for incremental loading or full loading?
Yeah, based on the control table.
Is it based on the control table? Anyone? Can anyone correct this statement?
Okay.
Yeah,
Actually,
based
if
on
the
the
data is
watermark.
more than 10 million means we will go
Yeah,
for
exactly.
incremental load.
You're on the track. Now, Pavitra, just explain like that is one thing. And if now you decided like they have a criteria, if the number of rows every day if they're getting more 10 millions, or
Yeah.
if the table is having 10 millions of the data, then based on that business requirement criteria, you decided to go for incremental loading. That's perfect point. And other point that I'm expecting is now you decided to go for incremental loading. So what prerequisites are
I
required to
must
go?
need a date column.
Exactly. Okay. Now, if you have a date column, are we going to take the boundaries? Because while you are loading the data from source to target, some more records also going to feed into the source also, right? We are
Yeah.
trying to pull from there, and someone also is trying to feed the data into the source.
Yeah.
So how you're going to handle this?
Yeah, if someone also using the table means I don't bother about that one. I will create the boundaries for that date. Within the boundaries, I will load the data. If
Exactly.
I am loading the data means I will consider the last loading date, and based on that, after those date records, I will feed into my data.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. And one more is uh, I'll ask one more technical question. Let's say, for example, this is for everyone. Okay. I have a data in my sources 40 millions. Okay. So I applied already incremental loading. Okay. So I wanted to load the data completely, like you designed a pipeline and you tested it in the dev. I mean, you did unit testing. And for unit testing, we don't need all the data. So you have some volume of data in the dev system. You implemented it and you gave it to the testing team. They tested with some more data in all the way, and they signed off to bring it into the production. Now the pipeline is there in the production. You have to load the data from the source to target. Let's say, for example, first time you are going to load, right? If you want to run this pipeline, how you are going to run it? Like if there is a 40 millions, as I said, in the source, first time you are loading.
At
Uh,
first time, if I am loading means I will take the date prior 2 days.
Perfect. So prior 2 dates of your source minimum, you are going to take it, and till current date, you are going to take it.
Yeah.
That is absolutely correct. But there is a small barrier is there. So what it is if you at one shot, if you're trying to take 40 millions of the data, and apart from your job, other jobs also is taking the data from the source. So that time, like there will be more burden on the source system. So there are chances to block your queries, or there are chances to block other jobs. So to avoid this, they have some criteria saying that if the data is more than 40 millions or more than 30 millions, you just take a rough estimation condition. In that case, do not load all the data at one shot. Break them into batches. Break them into pieces. I mean, first batch, I wanted to load 10 millions, or let's say this 40 millions of the data is 3 years data. Okay, so 3 years data means if you can break them into 3 times, if you run the pipeline, then there will be no burden on others, right? I hope everyone is following with me, right?
Yes.
Okay, so otherwise, let me share my screen. So here is the places you are going to have a cross question. Okay, you're all did good practice. You're able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think I need to do some setup. So based on that only I can get to know like the screen will be visible for everyone. I'll check that. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is if my data source is having 40 millions of the records, generally, we implemented incremental loading. And first time when you try to load the data from the source to target, you have to load this entire 40 million rows. After loading till today, then only from the next onwards, it is going for incremental loading. So what they are suggesting is if it is taking longer time to run this 40 millions of records, we can break them into pieces. Let's say for this one, you'll be having minimum date, right? So minimum date minus 2, we are going to take for starting watermark date. Start underscore watermark date. And when you take this one more date, right, that is end watermark date. Generally can take till today as a watermark end date. I mean, max date of your source, you can take it max of a date is going to be taken as a watermark end date. But here, what I'm trying to say is you can specify this start date and end date in the control table itself. Okay, so we have taken only one date, watermark date on last loaded date only we have taken, right? Watermark date only are taken. So what you can do is in the watermark date, let's say for example, you have a date something like 01, 01. Just imagine. So when you take this one, this is a starting date. After doing this min date minus 2, you're getting this date. Now, this is going to check, one of the lookup is going to take the date from here, right? So this value, you're going to update it here. That is fine. You're going to update it here. But the problem here is if you update this date, from here it is trying to take the date. From here it is trying to take the data from there. I mean, you require start date greater than start date is required. So greater than start date and less than end date. These two column values are required. So I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem with this because the minimum date is available here as a last loaded date. This is watermark date, right? In a watermark table. I mean, in control table, last loaded date. So this last loaded date will come to here. What is that last loaded date? This date is the last loaded date. Okay, so minimum of your source date minus 2 is the last loaded date, first time in the production. Then what about this end date? End date also is required. Okay, so what value you are going to pass it here? That is the question. Okay, so if you take it from the source, max date as a watermark end date, then it is going to pull all the 40 million rows. But if you can take this date also from the control table, this also can take, if you can take it from the control table, then definitely it is going to be controlled. I mean, you can pass some date for this. Okay, so you can pass some date here. Basically, I'll talk about this, how we can decide these particular dates at the time of project. We are going to have a medallion architecture. Like we'll be having a different layers like landing zone, bronze zone, silver zone, gold zone, something like that. So bronze layer, silver layer, gold layer. So based on this dates, we can use that and you can bring it into this place. So that is one of the approach to do it. So if they ask, what you can do is, you can say is, you can pass the filter. Like we can divide that entire 3 years data into 3 parts based on the starting day of the year till ending day of the year. So 1 year will be completed at one shot. In second iteration, it will go for 2 years, second year, and third iteration, it will go for third year. Okay, so from there, once this 3 years is completed, after 3 years is completed, I mean, after completion of this 40 millions of data, then it will go and take 1 day data every day. First loading only, you are going to do it, complete loading. First day only, I mean, first time when you load first time, you are going to load complete data. When you are applying loading complete data, if at all, if they have a huge volume of data, then we are going to make them into pieces, and piece by piece, we are going to load in the weekends. So you can say that basically, I used to do this incremental loading, first time loading in the weekends, so that there will be no much impact on the source systems. To avoid it, we used to load it in the weekends. So once it is loaded, from Monday onwards, it is going for regular loading. So that is how we implemented it. Okay, so that is one of the cross question. And one more cross question is, can we implement full loading? I mean, I have a pipeline with incremental loading, but I wanted to do full loading. I wanted to do full loading. How can you do it? Can anyone give the answer?
Maybe updating the control table.
Exactly. Like, if you can say source minus to date, until date, it is going to take all the data, right? First time when you load, every data is going to get. So that is what we are doing. First time load is full loading only. So that is one of the interview question for one of the student he faced. Somewhere he mentioned, I have loaded the data from the source target. What should be coming from the somewhere I've seen. Yeah, here. Can we load incremental load and full load at a time? Can we load incremental load with the same pipeline, and can we do the full load with the same pipeline? So two answers we can give. One is the way we created a pipeline based on the load type. We can load if the table is demanding to go for full load, we can pass the load type as a FL, and then we are going to run the pipeline. That is one answer. And if you want to implement incremental loading IL, we have done this package pipeline. If you come across it, incremental loading IL and FL, so that we are controlling from the control table. So that is the perfect answer actually. And if they have a different mind, if they wanted to use the only one incremental loading pipeline, we don't have any control to say it is a FL or IL. If they don't say that, then you can use the same pipeline for full loading also. But again, there is a pros and cons. If tables should have a date columns. So the better answer is the way we implemented IL and FL to control from the control table. The same answer we can explain to them. This is how we implemented it. We have taken the dynamically table from the control table. So based on that, we have handled by using the if condition activity. You can explain in that way. Is everyone clear, right? So
Yes.
simple answer, with single pipeline, you wanted to implement FL and IL. That is one thing. And this one, we'll see how we can do it. I have a 3 EMP source files and how to remove duplicates using data transformations in the data factory. This is the bad question actually. Generally, we don't do the transformation with data factory, but still, how we can do it, we'll see that. Okay, so if it is a SQL, how we can do it? If it is a data factory, for every question, whenever you're trying to do practice, for every question, you have to do it in all the way. First, SQL. If you're not aware of SQL, then try to do it in data factory. If it is a ADF, how we can do it? Okay, so to talk this one, you need to have a transformations. We did not touch the transformations as of now. We are going to see that. And if it is a PySpark, how you are going to do it? If it is a PySpark, how you are going to handle it? There is a Spark SQL also. Spark SQL. But if you can do with the SQL, then you're done with the Spark SQL also. Okay, so PySpark means it's a Databricks. Okay, so how we can do it in a PySpark? That we need to do it. So every question try to do in all the way in all the platforms. Then you will be familiar with this. You will be familiar for each and every question. So because if you try to give the answer in SQL, as you know in a SQL, then they will ask immediately, can you write in a PySpark? I wanted to see in a Python code. Okay, so if you write a Python code in the Spark, we can say it is a PySpark. So most of them we are going to see that. Okay, so that we can get it clear. And like if you face an interview and if you can say the questions like this, then we are going to discuss that. Okay, so that is one thing. And the next question is what? I have an employee CSV file with a fixed format. Every time a new employee CSV is loaded, sometimes we are getting invalid data in the gender field column, date type field. So there is every time they're getting a CSV file, and that file is having a fixed number of columns. I mean, if the file is having 5 columns, every time it is having a 5 columns, that is fine. But it is changing the data type. For sometimes for gender column, it is getting a different kind of data. So we are getting invalid data in the gender field column, data type field. What to do if data fails while loading the data into the target table? So basically, this is in some projects, we are going to take the data from the file system, and then they're going to store the data into the target. Target is the database. But in typical data engineering projects, people never store directly in the first load. They don't store the data in the table directly. Okay, so how exactly we are going to do is we are going to have a landing zone. The data will come into the landing zone. Then it will go to the bronze layer. As it is, bronze layer is going to have a table format. But this table is going to take all the data from this data source. Even if there is a wrong field, like gender column is saying, so gender is expecting like male, female, and sometimes they're passing the numbers also. That is what the question here. So if you are getting this number, then when you load this data into the target, there is a chances to failure. If target data type is text, then it will allow this number will be loaded. But just imagine target data type is number, and it is going to expect only 1, 1, 0. 1 means male and 0 means female, something like that. So then these two records are going to cause your pipeline to fail. In that case, how you can handle it? That is what this particular question. So how we have implemented in my project is, we took the data from the Oracle system and we kept in the landing as it is. The source, your Oracle data types will be different, and your Databricks data types will be different. Okay, so when the time comes, we are going to see that. Okay, so what happens here is, the data will come as it is and into the bronze table. In the bronze table, everything is going to be string data type. Everything will be allowed. When the data is moving from bronze to silver layer, here we are going to check the data quality check. We have implemented data quality check framework, which is going to validate the conditions, which is going to check the quality of the data. Okay, so if it is if the quality check is failed, then we are creating two flows. One flow is cleanse data. We have given cleanse data frame, and if it is failed, then it is a rejected data. So rejected data frame is going to have a failed data. So the failed data we are loading into the separate table called rejected tables. So when we are going to talk about the project, you can get to know about all these things, as we are not aware of what is this bronze or silver or gold. You are not aware of the data frame. So it takes some time to handle it. At the same time, once it is having rejected data, we are going to keep them in the rejected tables. And if it's not going to fail, you're handling it. Okay, so if you want to make it fail, if it is failed, then we can store the data in the log tables. Okay, so we are going to see how we can create a log and how we can feed the log details. Maybe in the couple of sessions, we are going to talk about it. You will get to know. We are keeping the data in the rejected rows, and we are also going to log these details. So what records or what issue we are facing. We are not going, if the pipeline is failed, we are not going to make it completely fail. Okay, so pipeline will redirect it in the different directions. If it is failed, go in this direction. If it is succeeded, go in this direction. So that details we'll talk about it. So as you are not aware of it, you may not understand this at this point of time, but we'll see that. So they have given some sample data for employee. You can see here, this is what it is. Gender, male, female, and number 1 and 0 is there. So in that case, how you're going to handle it? In Data Factory, we have a error handling concept. We can use the error handling, and we can capture the rejected rows. So in different places, in different ways, people are used to handle it. We are not handling the cleanse data rejected data with the Data Factory. We are doing in my project, we are doing with the Databricks. So most of the people handles in the Databricks itself. I've loaded data from source to target. What should I do when new data comes from the source, so that the target should be updated? So this is SCD type 1 and type 2 implementation. We'll talk about it. How to read JSON file from the storage ADLS Gen 2 to Azure SQL. How to check if the JSON file provided by the client is valid data or incorrect data. So we have to check the schema only. Okay, so based on the schema, we can say is source file is as per the requirement or not. Okay, so with get metadata activity, simple, you're going to have a target schema. Target is having 3 columns. Just imagine the 3 columns is like employee number, employee name, and salary, something like this. And before loading it, I wanted to validate the scheme. I wanted to validate the scheme. If my incoming source file is having 3 columns or not. If both are having 3 columns, then only I can go for loading. If at all, if there is a different number of columns, I'm not supposed to load it. So how we can check, how we can compare the schema? I'm just giving an idea. You just try for doing it. In the dataset practice file, you have a department.json file. Department.json file we have. Okay, so just take this file as a source. In the target, you are going to have a target table department. You just take department table. We can create a table name and take the schema of this file and take the schema of this table. So how you can take the schema of the table is you can use get metadata activity. Get metadata. Now this get metadata is going to look onto the database. We can also look into the database. Okay, so in get metadata, we have a field list, right? Exists child items like that. We have a structure. You have an option called structure. Take the structure and take the schema of this department.json, and we can give the out. This will give by one activity, and this will give by one activity. Okay, so both activities will be given it to if condition activity. In if condition, we are going to check the structure of the file and structure of the table. So if both are same, then copy the data. Otherwise, do not copy the data. So just try to implement it. We'll talk if you are not able to implement it. We'll see that. Okay, you got my point, right? The fourth one. Okay, you may have a little confusion, but you just try whatever it is possible from your side. But I'll make you to get flexible. And if you have a copy data activity, then what function is there in copy activity so that JSON dataset will load? Means any function available for JSON in copy activity which reads JSON file. So while reading data with copy activity, what we are having a format of the file, right? Let me open the data factory. Oh my God, did I remove my data factory? My bad. I think that resource do was removed. It's my bad. I have lost all of them. Okay. Let me open any of them existed pipelines. I'll just give a brief. If you are interested, you can just try from your side. So basically, the copy activity is going to have a format of the file to read the data from the JSON file. Okay. So that is how we are going to have it. This question is not clear. To read the JSON file, we have to use the JSON format, right? If you have a copy activity, then what function is there in the copy activity so that JSON file, JSON data set to load? Means any function available in JSON in a copy activity which reads JSON file. Basically, if it is a Spark, I can say spark.json file, spark.read.json. But here, if you are there, if you have any confusion on the question, we can ask them to get little more clear so that we can clearly provide the answer. Okay. So like this, we are going to discuss in our sessions. Okay. So I hope everyone has said right. Now, what about others? Pavitra, do you want to continue? 1 minute. I'll give a host access to you. Yeah. Guys, you are able to see our screen, right? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Yes, go ahead, Pavitra.
Yes, sir. This is for dynamic folder. Not this. This is it. Like if we, it will go to output. After that, it will go to the year folder. After that, it will go to the month folder.
Okay.
Here in sync itself, I given the expression instead of creating.
Okay, perfect. Instead of creating a variable, you have
Yeah,
given
I
it directly.
directly
Yes,
given the expression
perfect.
because I used only that.
Okay, perfect. Anyhow, it is fine.
Yeah, this is just the one which is explained in the class, which
Okay,
activity.
okay,
Uh, copy and delete. And this is the one which we done task, right?
yeah.
Like uh, whatever the files, if the CSV files are there, means it will go to CSV folder, and if the Avro files are
Oh,
there, means it
perfect.
go
Can you
to
can you
Avro.
yeah, can you open this switch activity
Yeah,
and show me? Guys, you can see how CR has done to handle this CSV files.
this get metadata activity will get all the files, CSV, JSON, all the files it will get. And after that, each file will go to for each loop. Inside the for each loop, we have switch activity.
Perfect. So how did you write a
Here,
condition? Can you show the condition in switch activity
yes, sir.
condition?
For the switch activity, instead of creating the parameter, I will give the for each loop. If one item employee.csv is coming, means that CSV part I given to switch activity. If that CSV part is matched to this,
Can you share the activities expression so that there is activities in the bottom? Yes.
yeah.
So here,
Here I given the switch condition. Because
perfect.
if come
So why you
for
have given split and split
yeah.
with the dot, and what is that one?
Yeah, it is a right. Suppose it will be like customer.csv. Suppose CSV. I split it here at dot place. So it will get two parts. One is customer and another one is CSV. The customer index is 0 and CSV index was 1. So I taken the CSV index. Like
Perfect.
that here Avro means it will take the Avro. It will JSON means it will take the JSON. Like that whatever the file it may be, it will take that one.
Perfect. So
And if it is matched to CSV means it will go to CSV switch case and will copy the data. If that is Avro means it will go to Avro and it will copy the data to target.
yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Good answer. So guys, there is a
Here
list.
I given the folder name like that. I take the data set and I created a folder. I didn't given the folder name anything.
Why you are taking this static value? Why did not take dynamically?
Here,
No, in the file, in the folder name
yeah,
here.
I taken this static value because if the folder name in my
Okay,
case
okay,
CSV is
understand.
there, in another case it will be like
Understand.
folder one. For the taking dynamic means I took one activity for that same
Okay,
activity.
okay,
Based on the file name, it will take.
okay,
Inside the
understand.
for each, instead of taking the switch condition, I just given the copy data.
Okay,
So in the sync itself, I took because my folder is CSV and the customer.csv in the second index I had CSV, right?
yes,
So
perfect.
directly it will come here and it will go to that folder. If that is the CSV means it will match. If that is folder one or folder two, some other different means we have to take this one.
Okay, good, good.
And this one is like if I want to run only CSV files and I want to place the CSV files in CSV folder only. If I want to run only the like JSON files, I want to get only JSON files in the target also. I want to place only JSON file in the JSON folder means this is the activity. In the parameter, in the at pipeline level, I given a parameter. If I given CSV means it will go to CSV file like this.
Perfect.
Here it will filter. If I given based on the parameter value, if I given parameter value as CSV means here it will check item dot name that is like customer dot CSV, and here in pipeline I will give CSV, right? If the folder ends with CSV means it will check that.
Okay, good.
And this is the validation activity which is explained in the class itself.
Yeah,
And then,
good. You've done all the practice, right?
yeah,
You're up to date.
that multiple files, incremental loading for multiple files, I didn't. Yeah.
Okay. So that we have not yet done incremental loading for files. We are going to see that very soon. So two major topics are there from the control activities. One is reading data for multiple files incrementally and error handling. So error handling also we are going to see. These two are the major things from the control activities. Once these two are completed, then we are going to start talking about the data flow. So mostly by next weekend, we are going to complete our data factory. Then we are going to start Databricks related stuff. So that we can do it very, very easily. Whatever we have done in the data factory, the same thing we can try to do it in a Databricks also. Okay.
And this is one of the tasks which you given in the class, sir. Like you said for the current today date, and you want to do for the yesterday date, right? Yesterday
Yes.
date,
Yes.
previous.
Yes.
The task this was based on the date. Here I given for testing purpose. I given two. This is Sunday, right? It will give the Friday.
Okay.
Friday
Perfect.
data. Here, if
Okay.
I give one means it will give yesterday data. Like that it
Perfect.
will.
Perfect.
But
Okay.
this should have been done by this add days or add yeah, some function is there. If
Exactly.
by
That one also we can use.
sir, I have a question here. By seeing the previous example, while in which case we are applying several copy activities.
Mhm.
So is it a good thing to do, or it should be handled through the parameter properly? Because we are duplicating the copy activities here.
No, it's not a duplicating because even the format of the file is different, right? If you go with CSV and JSON, you cannot go for both together with the same format of the file in the copy. Okay, so the reason is if it is going as a file, it is fine. But if it is going to the table, then definitely it is going to be failed because CSV file is going to have a structure for the table data, and whereas for JSON also you're going to have a structure, but header is not going to be there. So in that case, it is going to be failed. So in that case, recommended to have it in a like same kind of format in the data set so that we can avoid. In this particular question is for only interview point of view. If they ask like that, we are going to handle it. But in general, in my case, we're always using Parquet file format. Why Parquet is important is because it is going to store in a columnar storage. In a column wise, it is going to store the data internally. So that improves very faster when you compare with the row storage. Okay, so I'll give some idea about it. Like at the time of Databricks, I'll tell you which format basically people used to do it. So I can simply say that we are using Parquet file format only, but I can give the answer for your use case. Like you can check the extension of the file. Then if the extension is this, then do that by doing one copy activity. And again, if the extension is JSON, then use another copy activity to handle it. So that we can do it. Okay, so that is one answer. If it is a target is file system, we can also go for dynamically. I mean, with one file format with CSV itself, I have explained in somewhere around how we can read data from multiple extensions of the files. So that is also is possible. But if target is database, then you're going to get a problem. In that particular place, recommended to use a different copy activities. So all copy activities are not going to execute at one shot, right? So one copy only is going to execute, depends on the extension of the file. So this question is for interview point of view. Whatever we have done depends on the extension, create a folder and move the data into that particular place. We don't get an errors. Okay, that is how C did with switch activity. And there is a C use the split function. a split function is very, very important when it comes to the Databricks. We're going to see that. So split gives a list of items. So how we can read the data from the list at the time of Python, we are going to get to know. Okay, so list is going to have an index. Based on the index, we can get it. So if that is the case, we don't need to write too many things. Even somewhere we have done like adding a date in between the file name underscore date dot CSV we have done, right? So we can we can use the split and take the 0 part and add the date and take the split of 1. So in that case, expression will be very simple. Okay, we can try that with the split function. Wherever we have used the parts to get parts of the file, we can try with the split also. Okay. Good job, Pavitra and Rajkumar. And who wants to share the screen next?
Sir, actually, I have joined from my mobile, but I am
Okay.
almost done with my practicals, 90%. I
Okay.
am 10% behind because of
Okay,
issues
understand.
that earlier I
Yeah,
highlighted.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
No,
I will be completing today itself.
no problem. So try to do that, and because in a week we are going to complete the data factory, and later on we are going to start doing interview preparation for data factory side parallelly on the weekend. On Sunday, I'm going to take some time I'm going to spend to talk about the interview questions based on the company wise I'm having. I listed them. So we are going to see that. Okay, so everyone should be, if you can do the practice, you can give the answer confidently, how you have done. Okay, so if you did not do that, then definitely it is going to lag you. Okay, so anyhow, I'm stopping here and we're going to see on tomorrow to talk about further things in the data factory.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah, any other questions apart from the subject? Anything else to say?
Just I wanted to thanks Pavitra. I had not used split function, but she had used it, so I'll try to
Yeah, of course.
use this function.
Yeah,
Thank.
that is true. Very nice, Pavitra. You did good job. And we have to think in a
Thanks.
different way. Context we need to understand. There will
Yeah.
be multiple solutions for every question.
It will
So
be there in Python. So if
yeah,
we get
in
that,
Python it is there. So when we come across the Python, we can also see that
yeah, it will
split
be very
function. It's
easy.
very, very important in Python. I mean Databricks. We're always going to use the split operation. Okay, so we'll see that. And Databricks is very, very important. If you are not confident enough in Databricks, you can simply, you're going to lose your data engineering job. So that much critical it is. So data factory is user interface. You can easily handle it, many things. But when it comes to the Databricks, same thing. Same what data factory is doing, same thing can be done by Databricks also. But why people are much more interested with the Databricks? So that we are going to see. We are going to talk. Okay, so in all the way, you just try to understand use case and try to implement in different ways. Okay. Anyhow, any other question? Anything else? Okay, then I'm stopping here and happy weekend. We'll see you tomorrow to talk about further things. Thank you
Thank you,
for
sir.
joining.
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.